Hi, gorgeous. Welcome to my masterclass. My name's Steph. I hope that you find some value in what I'm sharing, that you are choosing to take this time to invest in yourself, invest in your learning, empower yourself, and find out the things that are going on for you so that you can take the next step in your awareness to move forward in your life. This masterclass is all about delving into what we need as women, specifically to conquer, to heal, to resolve all of the things that are keeping us feeling stuck in a place where we don't want to be anymore. I was always a pretty fun, happy child, and I was a bit of a tomboy. I was a bit of a wild child. My mum and dad split up when I was really young, and then we moved. New school, new people, new town. And in that shift, it felt like my existence and my perspective shifted because I got plopped into year 3 at a new school. And I didn't realize at the time, but I was so attached to being accepted and liked and really wanting to feel like I fitted in. And I was so scared of judgment and not having any friends and feeling like people didn't like me. I noticed really quickly that people were judging me because I was just doing my own thing and I showed up as my own person. But that came crumbling down really, really fast. And I was told and shown in many different ways, in many different situations, that I was different, weird, strange. I did things that kids didn't do, that girls shouldn't do, or girls shouldn't say, or play with, or, you know, even if I was singing to myself, it was like pointed out that that's not something you should do. You're singing to yourself again, like you're crazy, you're weird. I learned that I needed to do what everyone told me and expected from me to be liked, to fit in. And that formed this person who had very low self-worth, very low self-confidence. I didn't love myself. I couldn't be myself. I couldn't say what I wanted to say. I couldn't do what I wanted to do because I was so worried about being judged. So I was sort of like this chameleon, and I would try and fit into every situation around every different person and just agree with them, want them to like me. I was always thinking, what am I saying? What am I doing? What are they thinking? Are they liking me? Are we friends? Like just overthinking into that. I was in a really abusive relationship from late high school and out, that really just degraded any self-worth that little skerrick of self-worth that I actually had left. And I found myself in a really healthy relationship and with such an incredible man. And what happened was I realized how broken I was because I had pulled all of this negativity and all of these insecurities that I had from myself and my past and all the experiences I'd been through and how I felt about myself, and I'd put that onto him. And I didn't do it logically, I didn't do it on purpose, but it was like it was now his problem to try and undo and make me feel like I was worthy and okay and loved and safe. As much as I tried, I really found that really difficult to unravel, and I still expected to be hurt. And basically I got to a point where I was working in a job that I was overworked, really mistreated, lots of workplace bullying, really taken advantage of, doing, you know, three people's jobs, replacements not coming in, managing claims of with people that had injured themselves at work, so workplace injuries. That really started to take a toll on me mentally as well. And I then developed chronic pain as well. And so I had chronic pain for years and I could not sort it out. And it was like the pain of being, you know, in pain every single moment of every single day just chipped away at me, and it really just chipped away my happiness. And I got to this point where I was just this empty little shell of a human. I felt like I was this empty egg that all the good stuff had been scooped up and thrown away, and I was so fragile, and I was so broken, and I was so trapped. I would cry myself to sleep. I would cry in my car on my lunch breaks. I was saying to my husband that I wasn't okay. I tried psychology therapy, mind-body therapy, lots of avenues for meditation, walking meditations, journaling, learning about neural pathways and things in the mind, lots of different things. And I felt worse because as far as I was progressing with these treatments, I wasn't feeling any better. I wasn't feeling any happier. I wasn't feeling like I was getting anywhere. And that made me feel like there was no end, and this was like torture, and that there was no way out. I just can't accept that this is my life, because I would picture my future and I knew how much I was struggling and how negative I was and how awful I felt about where I was and who I was as a person, that when I saw the future and I tried to imagine what I would be like in the future, it was so negative, because it was like, if I'm this bad now, what's it going to be like when I'm, say, 60 years old? And what's all these years in between going to look like when I am just suffering, not living, not being able to enjoy my life? So basically, I got to a point where I finally found Creatrix, which is what I'm going to be sharing with you today. And it's a female formulated approach that is the only one out there that guarantees quick last results for women. And that's the only thing that gave me the shift that I needed in my mind to really give me my self-confidence, self-worth, spark, fullness, and just all of the good things back, to give me that mindset of really loving myself, not worrying about what other people are thinking, doing my own thing, and really just loving my existence, loving life, and loving the people around me. So I'm going to start off with sharing my transformational video. So this was shot back in 2017, and you'll see me talking about how I felt beforehand and all of the emotions that I was feeling. I was in the lowest place I'd ever been in my entire life. And then you'll see me talking about after.
The person I know as Steph is not here anymore. Like, I feel like she's so far away. And no matter what I do, how hard I try, I can't. Even just visiting, like, in-laws or whatever, like, I have to put on this face, like, pretend I'm fine and, like, engage with people and, like, laugh and do whatever's being done at the time. And then, like, I just fall to pieces when I actually make it home, and then my husband is just the one that gets the real, like, raw, just the shit end of the stick, really. Like, I can be myself around him, which is good, but that's what myself is. And, like, why would he want to be around? Like, why does he want to stick around? It's like my whole volume is turned up, and I'm always just go. Like, I just can't relax. Like, I never feel rested. It's just this awful cycle.
Yeah, I suppose, like, I feel pressure in almost everything. I think I put pressure on myself. Just to be able to, meet my own expectations and achieve what I want to achieve and things like that. And then, yeah, the pressure of others, or the things when other people need or expect things from me, and if I find it difficult or I can't live up to what they sort of are expecting from me, I find that is a lot of pressure as well. So I feel trapped, and I feel like I can't escape the feeling of just being stuck in this sort of never-ending, like, a cycle of just trying my hardest to be able to do and achieve what I want, but not ever getting there. I want to be able to get my mind to a spot where I know that I'm calm, settled. I can think logically about whatever's going on without feeling influenced by the overwhelming feelings of negativity that I have from all different aspects and things that I carry with me. I just really want to find that balance of just who I actually am, to be able to experience life the way I want to experience, the way I know I can, the way I used to be before everything sort of just started piling on top of me. My life now and my view on my future is just so much more positive. Like, I'm just looking forward to everything in life. Like, each day is exciting and there's so many possibilities, and there's just nothing there that's holding me back or making me worry or feel like everything's too much like there was before. I think with everything else, you go to someone and you tell them everything that's wrong, blah, 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 and then you just keep going to them again and again and again and again. Nothing changes, and you keep checking back and going, oh, do I feel any better than I did last week? Do I feel any better than I did last week? And I think because this is so fast and you're not used to anything actually happening so quickly and so effectively, that you just like, what has happened? And I think because I overanalyze everything and my brain is just trying to like figure it all out. So it's just, I'm trying to make sure, it's gone. Yeah, it's gone, like trying to decide, yes, I don't feel like that anymore. It's so strange because I never used to sort of tell anyone what I was dealing with. So to me, I felt like I wasn't dramatic and I wasn't exaggerating anything. So to hear it all and to know that is what was real, like I was really struggling with it because I never really would talk about it, to actually open up and say all of the stuff that I was really worrying about that was really affecting me. And now to sit here and hear it and think that, wow, like, my God, that's ridiculous. Like, that sounds so dramatic. Like, it makes me laugh. It just, for one, it makes me laugh because it's so cool to not have to have any of that affecting me anymore. And also just the fact that, like, I'm just so happy that I don't have to deal with that. Like, I found the thing that I need, and I know that I'm where I need to be, and I can move forward and experience life how I want to. Now I enjoy like everything. Like, I didn't really like spending time by myself. I didn't like driving to and from work. I didn't like just going to the shops or running into people on the street or whatever it might have been, like little things. And now it's just everything's new and exciting and just something else to look forward to. And it was, it's just the complete opposite, really. I definitely remember feeling like that. I felt just so like hollow, like all the good bits had just been like just scooped and thrown away, and I was just like this empty little person. But I'm back, and I'm just full of happiness.
So you can see there just how big that transformation was for me. So that was back in 2017. And since that time, I have trained to become licensed in the therapy myself. So now I'm able to get those results for the women that I work with all around the world in a really quick frame of time. So I'm going to be sharing with you a few things that are really important in relation to us as women and what we need for long-term change. Every single biological system is different between a man and a woman. Every single biological system. There is a 1% difference between men and women. And you would think, oh, 1%, that's not much. But if a plane was 1% off course, it's going to be the difference between landing in London or landing in the ocean. So every single system of ours works differently. You could be dug up in 3,000 years' time and your bones tested at a cellular level, and that would tell the scientists whether you were male or female. So our cells are coded male or female, and they know how to behave and how to drive and how to respond according to that biological design. I want to play you a video now from Mark Gungor, and he really hones in on the differences that we have in our minds and the way we think and the way we see things.
We're going to start discussing men's brains, women's brains, and how they're very different from each other. Now, I want to start with men's brains. All right. Now, men's brains are very unique. Men's brains are made up of little boxes. We've got a box for the car. We got a box for the money. We got a box for the job. We got a box for you. We got a box for the kids. We got a box for your mother somewhere in the basement. We got boxes everywhere. And the rule is the boxes don't touch. When a man discusses a particular subject, we go to that particular box. We pull that box out. We open the box. We discuss only what is in that box. And then we close the box and put it away, being very, very careful not to touch any other boxes. Now, women's brains are very, very different from men's brains. Women's brains are made up of a big ball of wire. And everything is connected to everything. The money's connected to the car, and the car's connected to your job, and your kids are connected to your mother, and everything's connected to everything. It's just like... It's like the internet superhighway, okay? And it's all driven by energy that we call emotion. It's just... It's one of the reasons why women tend to remember everything. Because if you take an event and you connect it to an emotion, it burns in your memory and you can remember it forever. The same thing happens for men. It just doesn't happen very often because, quite frankly, we don't care. Women tend to care about everything. Now, men, we have a box in our brain that most women are not aware of. This particular box has nothing in it. In fact, we call it the nothing box. And of all the boxes a man has in his brain, the nothing box is our favorite box. If a man has a chance, he'll go to his nothing box every time. That's why a man can do something seemingly completely brain dead for hours on end. You know, like fishing. Now, they've actually measured this. The University of Pennsylvania a couple of years ago did a study and discovered that men have the ability to think about absolutely nothing and still breathe. You know, they connected all the wires and stuff like that and watched the brain activity, then all of a sudden, I think he's dead. Huh? Women can't do it. They can't do it. Their minds never stop. And they don't understand the nothing box. And it drives them crazy. Because nothing drives a woman more crazy or makes her feel more irritated than to witness a man doing nothing.
So you can see there that example, just how differently our minds are, and how with women, everything is connected to everything. A big part of this is that women actually have a larger anterior cortex in their brain, which means that we have more time spent ruminating, questioning, thinking, contemplating, and worrying. What I'm going to do next is play a short clip from the movie The Breakup.
Well, I'm gonna go do the dishes.
Cool.
It'd be nice if you helped me.
No problem. We'll get them a little bit later. I'm just gonna hit the streets here for a little bit.
Gary, come on. I don't want to do them later. Let's just do them now. Take 15 minutes.
Oh, honey, I am so exhausted. I just honestly want to relax for a little bit. If I could just sit here, let my food digest, and just try to enjoy the quiet for a little bit. Get some. That's what happens. And we will... we can clean the dishes tomorrow.
Gary, you know, I don't like waking up to a dirty kitchen.
Who cares?
I care, all right? I care. I busted my ass all day cleaning this house and then cooking that meal, and I worked today. It would be nice if you said thank you and helped me with the dishes.
Fine. I'll help you do the damn dishes.
Oh, come on. You know what? No, that's not what I want.
You just said that you want me to help you do the dishes.
I want you to want to do the dishes.
Why would I want to do dishes? Why?
See, that's my whole point.
Let me see if I'm following this, okay? Are you telling me that you're upset because I don't have a strong desire to clean dishes?
No, I'm upset because you don't have a strong desire to offer to do the dishes.
I just did.
After I asked you.
Jesus, Brooke, you're acting crazy again.
Don't you call me crazy. I am not crazy.
I didn't call you crazy.
I did.
So that is a clear example there of how women attach meaning to different things. We attach the meaning to the dishes. So the scenario is there's just dishes in the sink. For the man, it's not a big deal. He's just trying to relax after a long day at work. For the woman, the dishes in the sink actually mean a lot of different things according to all of the things that she's thinking and feeling in that particular moment. So for a woman, seeing those dishes in the sink not being washed up can mean that she's not seen. She's not valued. All of her hard work isn't noticed. She doesn't mean anything. She's not important. She's not loved. Because if he was washing up, that would show that he cares about her and that he loves her and that he's seeing that she's important and showing that she's important. The problem is that we add that meaning to the dishes and they don't see that, and then they tend to get pretty confused when we are getting really upset by something, an action that they haven't taken, because they can't see that hidden meaning that we've given to that thing. There's a science called epigenetics, which is the study of emotional and inherited scarring that is actually passed down from generation to generation. So every ancestor that's lived before you, so like your mum, your mum's mum, your mum's mum's mum, they all carry within their DNA patterns and triggers of all of the things that they've actually experienced in their life, and you are the living culmination with it all raveled up inside of you, and you're the result of all of those things. So it's not just our looks that are passed down generation to generation. It's not just Nana's knobby knees or great Nan's blue eyes. It's also our patterns in our behaviours and our triggers to certain situations and scenarios, emotionally, mentally, physically. And these things, though, the good thing about it is they can actually be changed. And there's lots and lots of examples of how we carry those patterns of a lot of the women that come to me that have the patterns of people pleasing and putting others first and not being able to put themselves first, and knowing and thinking that they only have value if they are providing things to others. So Creatrix and the work that I do actually works to break those cycles so that we are not actually passing down those patterns to future generations. So it completely stops with you. It clears out all of your patterns and then means that you cannot any longer pass those on. So those patterns are playing out in our subconscious mind, and our subconscious mind is like our autopilot. So it runs 95% of the time. So there is only 5% of our day where we are consciously thinking. The rest of the time, our mind is just doing its own thing. It's running its own patterns. It's thinking its own thoughts. It's going over the same scenarios. It's having the same beliefs that you have ingrained in you. All of the things that you believe to be true, all of the feelings that you feel on a day-to-day basis in certain situations are all running on autopilot. So it's down to what those things are and if they are helping you or hindering you. So a normal emotion is made to be felt, an action taken, and then within 90 minutes, pass through you, not fester and be held on to. A chronic emotion is one that has been sort of ingrained. It feels like it's festering. If we could even feel those emotions even when it doesn't make sense. So say waking up and feeling anxious, that need to be healed, resolved, and rectified to go back to a place of being able to be a healthy emotion that comes and goes at a time where it's necessary, at a time where it's relevant and it makes sense to the situation. Say being cut off in traffic, 10 out of 10 anger if it's dangerous, but then the situation changes, you move out of that space and you're no longer 10 out of 10 angry. Basically, we also have beliefs as well that we carry with us. Beliefs about ourselves, I'm not good enough. Beliefs or money beliefs that are instilled, money doesn't grow on trees. All of those sorts of beliefs we carry as well. And what happens is our subconscious mind continues to prove that true to us. So it's really hard for us to change a belief when we've got so much proof around of how that is the truth. So I want you to have a bit of a think about the patterns that are happening in your life and in your mind that aren't working for you, that aren't supporting you in feeling and thinking the way you want to think and feel about yourself, about others. And a really good way to do this is to get a little bit of an idea. So I'm going to put up some ideas for you on the most common thoughts and feelings that women have going on in their minds. And just take a note of how many of those you actually connect with, the ones that are really familiar to you that are popping up a lot in your life. And if you want to make a change to that truth. So while you're having a look at these, I want you to notice which one stands out to you most. So you can pick a thought, a feeling, or belief that you tend to notice you have with you more often than not. The one that is your big bugaboo that really gets under your skin, that you can't shake, that's with you a lot, that really is affecting your life. That would be great if it wasn't around or wasn't around anywhere near as much. So I want you to pick that one and get a piece of paper or get your phone, and I want you to write out a few things for me. So at the top of the page, I want you to write what it is. If it's the emotion, say it's anger. If it's a belief, I'm not good enough. Whatever it is, write it at the top. And then I want you to think of a scenario that would make you think or feel that way at its most intense. So it could be, say, picking the kids up from school, or public speaking, whatever it is that would cause you to feel that emotion at its most intense, write that down. What I want you to do next is write down in that scenario, if you imagine being there in that moment, what you would be focused on, and then what you would be caring about, what you would be believing about yourself, and what you're physically feeling in your body right now by feeling into that moment, into that situation, and into that scenario. What are you physically feeling in your body, and where are you feeling it? And then finally, what I want you to do is rate the intensity of how strongly you feel this emotion or belief out of 10. So on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being not at all, and 10 being the maximum amount, how strong can you feel that now while you're reliving, or you're in that scenario that you've created in your mind? So if you wrote down any number that is 7 or above, that's showing that you have a chronic emotion, because this was a made-up scenario. So if you can feel, think, and attach yourself to a made-up scenario that is causing you to be able to connect with an emotion or a belief that is a 7 or above, that shows that your emotions are way too heightened. A normal emotion should be about a 4 or below. So we say 4 or below, ready to go. That is a normal emotion. We have emotions. And in the moment, it can obviously be higher. But from a memory or a perceived imagined event, it should not be 7 or above. So have a look at that and take note of that, of how much pain and feeling is actually happening just by thought alone. So what I want you to do now is actually reflect on what you've just written. I want you to write down who is being affected in your life right now by you feeling this way. All the people, is it friends? Is it family? Is it children? Is it people in your workplace? And how are they being affected? And then next, I want you to write what it would be like for you not to have this in your life anymore. How your life would look, how your relationships would look if this was not a part of your life, if you did not feel this way.
Your body is your unconscious mind. It doesn't know the difference between an experience in your life that creates an emotion and an emotion that you can create by thought alone. So if you're living by the same emotion every single day, and those emotions are influencing your thoughts, and you can't think greater than how you feel, or feelings have become the means of thinking, you're thinking in the past. Your lens of the future is going to be colored by the past, so you can't see possibilities. So most people like to wait for a crisis or disease or diagnosis before they wake up enough to see. Well, the challenge is that biology tends to be redundant. So if you keep thinking the same thoughts, and those thoughts begin to fire certain circuits in your brain, the nerve cells that fire together wire together, so all of a sudden you start getting hardwired. And those are the thoughts that you can think the easiest. At the same time, those thoughts produce chemicals called emotions, and the next thing you know, your body gets accustomed to living by the same emotions, and it could be guilt, it could be unhappiness, it could be pain, but at least it's familiar to you, at least you can predict it. So some people would rather cling to the familiar than take a chance in possibility. So for most people then, they say, well, I don't really see how my thoughts have anything to do with my destiny. Well, that's because 95% of those thoughts are subconscious programs, right? So you're not even conscious that you think those thoughts. So the first step to change is starting to think about what you've been thinking about.
So through our time together so far, you've been coming into awareness of how your thoughts and feelings shape your reality. Noticing how you're thinking and how you're feeling and how that's creating the life that you're living. So how do we change this? If we've resonated with the things that are keeping us feeling stuck, if we notice we've got thoughts that aren't supporting us and feelings that aren't supporting us, and we're not feeling great and we don't feel the way we want, we feel stuck, how do we go from that to feeling free and happy and resolving those things? Every approach out there currently is created by a man for the way that men's minds work. And I'm not saying that this is a bad thing. If you do the research and go all the way back, you will see that everything out there is stemmed and created by a male. And men process emotion differently. So these things are created to work in that realm, to work the way men's minds work. And there's nothing wrong with the tools. It's just that tool doesn't work for women in the way women's minds work. It will work for 1 in 5, but for the majority of women, it's not what we need for long-term lasting change. So when we go to these approaches, psychology, NLP, timeline therapy, Reiki, counseling, we find that we're not getting what we want. We're still seeking, and we just have to keep showing up and keep doing the work. And these either we don't get resolution or it doesn't last. And that's not because we're broken. It's not because there's something wrong with the tool. It's just because it's the wrong tool for the job. It's not what we need for lasting change. So we need an approach that's made just for us. That approach is Creatrix.
We're often told we're crazy by a man before we're even 21 years old, just because we're not understood. We start to believe it after a while, and this strips away our innocent little girl confidence. If we were lucky enough to have had it, that is, through a nurturing upbringing, which isn't as common as we'd like. So we go to psychologists, counsellors, life coaches for help. And for a while these things do help us, and to some degree we can get relief. But some processes are just dredging up our insecurities and not healing anything. So in circles we go. When these things don't last, we take it personally and we start to think we really must be crazy after all. Could it be that being female, our brain makes us not just see things differently, but feel things differently? Could our female brain internally process our thoughts in such a unique way that the entire personal development and psychology industries have missed? What if I told you it's not you? It's all a misunderstanding due to the traditional and even new age processes that are used today, all built on fundamental assumptions that a brain's a brain is a brain, and therefore they must process everything the exact same way. For centuries, we've been teaching and using a one-size approach that was initially designed by men. Could the brain that needs to run a cyclic uterus-central being need its own type of software that doesn't fry our circuits? What happens if you try to use Android apps but you're an iPhone? Well, one lady hypothesized this and went back in history to the times when psychology was first discovered to see what they could have missed. In doing so, she redesigned a psychological method to help women move forward based on what she was able to uncover from her intense 13,000 plus hours of research. Initial testing proved her hypotheses right. She tried the process on males and it didn't work. Yet for women, it was causing an irreversible transformation. Her process, unlike psychology, meant she needed to know little history about a client or patient, except to know how they were still being affected from it now. The client is taken on a journey. Her eyes are closed so that she can focus, and it's here she's guided through a story where she's so disconnected from any traumas, she's not even in the story. She goes on a voyage to solve problems for others experiencing a similar nature to hers. Strangely, when she opens her eyes, the wisdom or life lessons, if you will, gained by the story's unique and specific characters, whom only she could have created, have transferred to be what she herself now knows without an ounce of doubt. She's transformed her beliefs, values, thoughts, all in one experience, one session. She's risen above her issues and now sees them in a mentally and emotionally balanced manner. She feels whole and balanced and healed. She immediately sees more choices in life. She feels hopeful about the future in relation to the issues she had, and will almost always say she feels like she's had a weight lifted from her shoulders. This is Creatrix, uniquely for women. You don't have to be messed up or broken. You can simply feel you're just restricting yourself. You're stuck in a cycle, or you're hitting up against a glass ceiling, holding yourself back, or repeating patterns you no longer want to. You feel like you just can't move forward. Well, Creatrix is the future of psychology.
Incredible. Creatrix is actually in 22 different countries now, all done online via Zoom sessions with a transformologist just like me that facilitates your healing to get you to a place where you can have all of the realizations that you need to shift your perspective long term. So Creatrix is designed specifically for women for fast, lasting breakthroughs of emotions, thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. If this is resonating with you and you're thinking, hey, that's me, I feel those things and I don't want to feel that anymore, then this may be something that would be right up your alley. To be able to see if this is something that is going to be good for you, if this is something that is suitable for you, if this is something that's going to get you from where you are now to where you want to be, if we could possibly work together, if I could help you get there and achieve emotional freedom guaranteed, then what I invite you to do is to jump on a blockage analysis consultation with me, where I really deep dive and find and identify all of the things that are limiting you. I see whether this is something that might be suitable for you, whether I think you're actually right and ready for the process, because I won't actually offer this process to you and work with you if I don't 100% believe and guarantee that I can get you the result. So I work with you for as many sessions as it takes to get you from where you are now to where you want to be, with a pre-identified list of issues, and we work through all of it until you are completely free. So I want to share a quick video of one of the women who I have had the pleasure of working with recently, and just what she had to say about the process.
So this is the last time you're going to feel the way you do. So I just, if it's okay, just want to ask you a couple of questions about how you're feeling now, so that we can get a really good gauge of where you're at, so that once we move through, you can see just how far you've come.
Well, you asking that makes me want to cry, because I feel like I don't want to be in this spot anymore. So when I'm out of it, I'm going to feel really good. So that's something I'm really looking forward to. And so I'm sad, but at the same time, I'm sad. I guess they're happy tears, because I don't want to feel like I am feeling all these years. So once I do feel better, I can't wait to be able to share my love. And obviously I'm going to feel so much better in life, and be able to love people more and feel loved. So I don't know what else to say other than looking really forward to feeling better and just having a different life, a different aspect in life and how I view everything. So
what do you feel like you're struggling with the most?
I think just finding happiness within me, and to actually find happiness within me, then I can find happiness within everything around me, right? Things that should make me happy aren't making me happy. So at the end of the day, I know it's not something that's someone's done or what's happening around me, but it's really me inside that's not happy to be enjoying life and things that have happened to me. Because if I really do put thought into it, I know I'm very fortunate and have so many things that so many people don't have. So I should really be feeling a lot better than I do. So just inner happiness is what I'm aiming for here. And that's, I really look forward to having that feeling, because I'm going to say I probably have never felt it, right?
What are you expecting from Creatrix?
I want Creatrix to be able to get me to a spot where I'm comfortable and confident in me as a person, for me to be able to reach my goals and everything that I've been scared to do and try and achieve just because of things that have held me back. So things like me thinking I'm not good enough, having the fear of what could possibly go wrong, and all those things that I have in me right now that have kept me in the same spot. So I want Creatrix to get me to the point where I can be in that spot where I can just achieve things that I feel in my heart I know I have passion for, and I just haven't done it because of fear. So that's what I want Creatrix to get me to. And again, just this whole thing of feeling happy in life and for everything that I have. Yeah, I guess not really knowing what true or deserving means, or what I deserve, is the other thing, right? Like why do I deserve it compared to somebody else, right? Why there's people starving in the other side of the world, and I have a home, I have food, I have family, friends, and why do I deserve more happiness than what I already should have, right? But I don't feel it, which is the part that's has me very stuck.
Why have you chosen now to make a change and to do this?
I think because I've tried so many different modalities to get to a point where I feel good physically and mentally, and I've yet to come across anything that has got me there. And just going through and seeing your podcast, and it really did resonate with me personally. So I decided I need to do something and move forward, and I was ready to make a change. So even though it was a lot of fear, and obviously I didn't tell anybody because I felt like they were going to hold me back and protect me from not going to spend money and this and that. And something in my heart told me to keep going forward with it. So yeah, that's exactly the feeling. It's probably why my stomach was hurting today. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm going through with this, right?
What are you looking forward to the most?
Just having freedom to do things without feeling like I'm going to be judged for doing anything, or having that pressure in me, or that anxiety of what if I should have done this or could have, or just, I think like me having fear of doing things, any type of fear, whether it's fear of someone doing something to me or me offending anybody. It's just, I'm just going to have so much more clear mind to be able to think and do things I want to do, as opposed to so much things going on in my head that are interrupting my thinking. I feel like a lot of times I can't focus and I can't do things, or internalize and actually remember things, because I have too many other things happening in my head. So I feel like that's a big one for me. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that feeling for sure. I think I've gotten to the point that I just can't manage. I guess all these years I've been able to slide through it, just obviously not the best way possible, but because I've been so much busier, it was easier to kind of put it behind me and ignore it. Was still obviously repressing all those feelings and whatnot, but being distracted. Now that this pandemic happened, I guess it's a good thing, because I've been able to take it all in and realize these things that have been holding me back for so long, right? So
you know what? The thing I noticed most was me being so fidgety and anxious. Wow, I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. And then also the fact that I wasn't like, I kept saying, I feel like I was saying the same thing over and over, that everything was just like piled up. I almost feel kind of bad that I put myself through that for so many years.
Kind of feel bad for myself there.
I shouldn't feel bad because I fixed her.
Just with like the actions that I've been taking these last couple of weeks are so different from what I would have taken prior to, like how I mentioned about doing things or not being worried about what someone's going to say, this or that. It's just, it's crazy, right? I don't know. I don't have really words for it now. Just it's hard to like put myself in that place now that I felt so down.
How would you describe yourself looking back? How would you describe what that person felt, what she was like?
She looked like very like lost in life, and like I just felt really bad because like I'm obviously the one that put myself through all that, right? It's just, I'm so grateful that I did this, because like obviously as much as I'm saying, okay, she was this and that, but if she didn't go and step up and want to change, then I wouldn't be here. But yeah, it was just like, there's just so much lost hope and no desire to like live life, right? So that's probably the saddest part about it.
It's hard to feel them and be able to describe how I exactly felt. But I do remember obviously that I was very like down and just ready to not do anything and just not really want to live life anymore. So
how would you describe yourself now?
I have so much more energy. I don't know where this energy came from, but I definitely have a lot more energy. Overall, just the more positive thinking that has been really the biggest thing for me on my self-talk that I have all the time. Yeah. And now I can walk through the forest without being so scared. Now I just look for the squirrels and try to give them peanuts before the winter comes, because then they're gonna hibernate. So.
And this was prior to doing this all together. Every few days I felt like I should cry a little or let go of something. And now that I'm like, okay, maybe I should try and see if I can release something, but I don't have any like anything holding me down, or I don't have any urge to cry, which is
And so knowing how you feel now and being on the other side, what would you say the value of Creatrix is?
I can't find the right word right now, but it's worth everything, right? Because it changes your life, right? It's something that you don't realize until you go through it, right? Because as much as I was initially like, okay, I want to do this, I still had I wasn't certain that it was going to work and whatnot. So you kind of have to go through it to realize the difference it makes in your life until I got to this point. Otherwise, through the process or at the beginning of the process, it was like, okay, well, I hope this works, like everything else, right? And so now it's just like, you can't really put a figure or something like, oh, okay, I spent this much to feel better, because it's like, it's changed my life and will continue to make me feel better and for me to strive and just be so much happier and more fulfilled in life. So through so much suffering, but I mean, it's like well worth it, because you kind of have to get to that point where you can't take anymore to try something that you probably think might not work, right?
So what would you say to any women out there feeling like you did?
Don't give up on wishing for a better life, because it's possible. We have so much more to give in life, and we just need to be fulfilled ourselves before we can really experience life. I don't know how I came across your podcast randomly. It's destiny, right? When things have to happen, they do. And I just took the leap, and I had faith. So you also have to dedicate yourself to, right? Yeah, and if you want to be there, you're going to try your best to be there, right? So that's the most important part.
wanting to change. So it was just kind of like a spiral. It just kept going down and down until I don't know how I would dig myself out of it, but I would. And now it's just, I definitely do not go that route ever. So that's amazing for sure. Can't believe I had so much holding me down, right? So it's kind of feels kind of strange or like kind of surreal that I'm like, oh my God, I had such a long list of things that were really stopping me from being my authentic self and actually appreciating myself and loving myself. That's exactly it. I remember like the first session we had at night when I was in my bed, that was like the first time I realized how it was affecting me, because I was like, I got into bed and then the thoughts that were coming to my mind were like completely different from what I'm used to hearing when I would go to sleep. And it's just like, it's crazy. Even like my daily mornings where I would wake up and already was like in a bad mood and this was hurting, that was hurting. It was just all like negative talk, and it's just gone away through the weeks, and I kind of haven't even noticed it, but when I do pay attention, obviously it's gone away. So yeah. Was I really complaining that much? But like, if I think about it, yes, I was, because I connected to all my pains, right? So my pains are not as bad, but they're still there. But like, I'm not like, all mopey and mad at everybody because they're there like I was all the time. So yeah, it's unbelievable actually. All I really wanted was to like get rid of my neck pain. Yeah. I didn't realize I had so many other things and burdens holding me down, right? So my state of mind is just a lot more like calmer, because I'm not so like constantly thinking, okay, what I'm gonna do in like half an hour, what I have to do, what I have to like. That was another big one for me too, right? That I was always thinking of what was coming up, and I was always so anxious about that. So it's been an amazing experience. So I'm so thankful that you've put me through this and I was able to get through it. And without a doubt, you guided me the right way, and I never wanted to turn back. So thank you.
So if you would like to take advantage of the consultation where you can deep dive and unravel all of the things that have been passed through to you epigenetically, all of the things that you are thinking and feeling that are not helping to support you and are keeping you feeling stuck, then I'm going to share with you my link to my calendar. And then we can jump on and really spend some time connecting and finding out what is going on for you personally. It's just like having your cards read, but really finding out what's going on in here for you. So normally it is $300 for that 90-minute analysis, but because you've come through this masterclass with that code, I am ready, that's going to give it to you for 97 Australian dollars. So to secure that, all you need to do is type I am ready in one of the boxes when you're answering the booking questions. However you found me, I know we've been thrown together right here, right now for a reason. You deserve all of the healing and happiness in the world. I really look forward to the next step and meeting you in person. Keep shining. You've got this, sister.